Hi, I'm Dr. Hailiwa Kopernik. I'm going to start hopping on here to share some thoughts. I hope this will be helpful. So, the topic on my mind this week is really the topic behind the Therapy Should Work project, which is how can we get people to access or to demand sounds kind of harsh, but to demand or expect that therapy will work. I always talk about it from this angle. Like I think in the frum community, we are different from other minority or smaller communities in that we are so committed as a community to our health and well-being and to getting the highest standards. And so as opposed to other communities that might be a little more segmented in this way, um, whether you're the wealthiest, most connected, most well-resourced to the least, uh, when a challenge happens, the community will respond. People will support. People will show up. People will help connect people. And so I always example of like the child gets sick with some illness, cancer, whatever it is, and the family is flown to Texas, and somebody greets them at the airport and brings them to the Bikur Cholam house, and they have an appointment the next morning at 6 a.m. with the top doctor, and the MRI scheduled for right after, and the kids back home are being have a meal train going and have somebody coming to visit them and help and this is beautiful chesed going on in our community and enables us to expect really important things in healthcare. And I think when it comes to mental health care, we're also investing resources. We also are investing money. We also care tremendously, but there's a totally different expectation in regards to mental health treatment and outcomes than we would expect in any other area. And that is suspicious and strange, and that seems odd. Um, and I think this people will I get responses. People are upset um, about me saying this as if I'm saying it as like a modalities war. Like, oh, I'm saying CBT is better than other modalities. And I want to be so clear that I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that there are correct modalities and less correct modalities. It's just not true. Um, what we know in psychological science is that there are common factors that make therapy more or less effective. That we do know. And there are specific, what I'm going to call mechanisms of change or reasons why people change or change happens in the course of therapy. And we do know a lot about that. And this isn't new research. I always like to stress this is we're not I'm not even talking about new research. I mean, new research is coming out, but this is this is information that's been around for decades, and we're still not accessing it. So I think a general expectation when people go to therapy is that it's going to take time, and it will take time. I mean, it's not something that like you'll take a pill and you're going to feel better tomorrow. It will take time, and that it's going to be a process, and you have to be willing to be in the process. And all this is true, but to a degree. And then I think there's this endlessness to therapy. I hear intelligent, well resourced um, peers say things like, well, I know for my self care, I try to be in therapy. Like, what does that even mean? Um, or, or, um, or, well, don't we all have a little anxiety? I mean, we all do have a little anxiety. It's an emotion. Everybody has anxiety, but that's not like a thing we're meant to live with. We're not meant to like live with anxiety. Anxiety with an anxiety disorder or with disorder level anxiety or with anxiety to a degree that it's like disruptive to our lives. Like we don't need to, and there's no reason that we should live with this. Um, the expectation that we should be struggling with our mental health or that mental health or that mental illness is like an ongoing thing or that this is kind of just part of who we are, part we have to accept about ourselves. It's just not true. And yeah, I could talk about this topic forever because well, hopefully not forever. I really want things to change. And that's been behind this idea for this project, is really to create. I was talking with someone on my team recently about how if this was just about like getting us more followers or making money, like trust me, there would be better ways of doing that. We can make like an event all around the topics people are most interested in, like talking about, say, PTSD or complex PTSD or something. And people will come. People want to hear about it. People want to talk about it. People want to learn about it for sure. But that's not the goal. The goal is actually changing expectations about therapy. I want that people who are struggling with their mental health can go to their therapist, current or to a new therapist, and can ask, okay, these are the things that I'm struggling with, or I'm not even 100% clear. I just know I'm not feeling great and I need help clarifying what can help. And I want to know, what's that going to look like? What's the process of me overcoming this going to look like? How are we tracking? How are we going to know when things are different? How will I know when I'm done? These are really good questions to ask. And you deserve to ask and you deserve to know. And it's not always a straight answer. I would say, like, I can't always know. But there are certain variables that should give us some inclination, some information. And also when you ask a therapist about what they're practicing and why, it's like I said, it's not about a specific modality being better or more correct, but you want that whatever they're doing makes sense. It should really make sense about how what they're doing connects to your problem and how it's going to get you to where you want to be. And I wish that that was more of an expectation in mental health care. And yes, mental health issues are different from medical issues. They are. They are really different, but they're not different in that they can't be cured or treated. Not that we're not going to have emotions at the end. Of course, we're going to have emotions, but we shouldn't be struggling with our emotions. Our emotions should be like fluidly experienced. We should be able to kind of like feel an emotion and move forth and have emotions be within a range. When something's a struggle, we should be able to get help with it and it should not be a struggle in the end. So thanks for joining me for this. And here's to people living healthier, more meaningful, more connected, more peaceful lives.